What is up, my dudes, and that one girl wants to see which dudes are riding like a scrub? This is Bikes, Beards, and Brews. Let's kick that intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we kick this one off, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. New videos are coming weekly. You ring that bell, you know when they drop. Let's get the other stuff out of the way. Want to save 10% on a Cardo communicator or save some money on some Kemimoto gear or some Beyond Rider gear? Then you should check my referral links down below. Want to support me and all my do-gooderness like these cool guys here? Bam! Then you should become part of the Brew Crew and join the coffee page down below. Want to know why I'm asking you for money? Well, next to those 10,000 Amazon affiliate links that also go to a good cause is a link to a video explaining what I do with your money. Get it? Got it? Cool. Let's move on. All right, guys. So today, before we jump into this video, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping because I thought this was absolutely hilarious. The last video I did was Indian motorcycles are boring. And a lot of the comments that I saw in there were, well, what about Harley? What about Harley? What about Harley? Harley, Harley, Harley. Here's the thing. I have done hundreds of videos on this channel, literally hundreds of videos. At least half of those videos are at the expense of Harley. I make fun of them to no extent. I am ruthless with them. I have done all kinds of stuff. I've poked that bear a million times over. I'm sorry if I can't placate your echo chamber every single video I do. Last video was about Indian, so we talked about Indian. Calm down. If you're looking for something that's picking on Harley, literally go pick any other video I have with the word Harley in the title. All right, cool. So we got that out of the way. Let's move on to today's topic. All right, guys, so today I want to talk about Harley and are they overpriced? Because another comment that I see a lot, and a comment I have made a lot, is Harley is pricing out the common man, the blue collar worker, the middle class, stuff like that. And true, like, you know, too long didn't watch. Yes, American motorcycles are expensive as hell. If you go buy the Japanese counterparts and all that stuff, they're going to be cheaper. However, I think you'd be surprised if you're looking at just the American market and you're comparing the leading competitor, which is Indian, to Harley. Now, that's what we're going to do today. There's a few caveats to this. I'm not going to go through and compare every single motorcycle. We'd be here for a long time. That and each brand doesn't have a one-for-one match. So for example, Harley doesn't have the FTR sort of thing. They don't have a flat track racer, so that's off the board. Now, the same thing can be said about Indian. They don't have an adventure tour, they don't have a trike, and they don't have a lot of the stuff that Harley has in their cruiser lineup. So those are just left out. We're also going to be doing just the base models of these bikes, because the conversation really is Harley still accessible to the blue-collar worker, the middle income sort of person? Now, also in this long disclaimer, I'm not going to be diving into stuff like horsepower technology, stuff like that. All of that is in the eye of the beholder. Same thing with paint colors and style and design and whatever. It's what you like. So if you like an Indian motorcycle better than you like a Harley motorcycle or vice versa, that's your prerogative. You're riding, that's great. Great to see you on two wheels or some of you on three wheels, whatever. But that is what we're doing. So let's move on to this list, and I think you will be quite surprised. All right, so let's start off at the beginning of the list, which is the cheapest, lightest, smallest bikes that both companies have. One-for-one comparison. That is the Indian Scout Bobber 60 versus the Harley Davidson Nightster. Sorry, it's this involuntary reaction every time I think about the Nightster. Oh, that's an ugly bike. Sorry, eye of the beholder. Eye of the beholder. Nonetheless, Scout Bobber 60 comes in at $10,750. The Nightster comes in at $12,000. Now that really is just $1,000 or so difference between the two bikes. That is nothing too crazy. And again, when you start digging into the nuts and bolts of these bikes, it comes down to preference, because really at this level, the Scout 60 has 78 horsepower, the Nightster has 91 horsepower. That's a fairly big difference, but then you're coming down to technology, stuff like that. If you want air-cooled, liquid-cooled, that's why we're not diving into that. I'm trying to match these bikes up as close as I can, one for one. So yes, these two bikes, they're within about $1,000 of each other. That's really not huge. And if you're going for a Scout Bobber 60, I'm willing to bet you could probably come up with that extra K to get the Nightster. So I wouldn't say that Harley is really outpricing anyone there. That seems to be pretty damn competitive. All right, so next up on our list is the Chief, the base model Chief. We're putting this up against the Softtail Standard. These are the first in both of their lines of their bigger cruiser bikes. You know, they have the bigger V-twin engines versus like the smaller stuff. Both of these come in at $15K. So these are equally priced bikes, and that really turns into what you prefer, what you are looking for in your bike and what you want. But these really are pretty much a one-for-one, and they look pretty similar. They have, for the most part, fairly similar options and stuff like that, but they are both $15K. So again, Harley's not outpricing the middle class here. This is a very competitive price. I mean, you can't really beat one for one there. All right, so this is a little bit more of an interesting one. We're talking about the Indian Springfield versus the Harley Heritage Classic. So the Springfield is 23 grand. The Heritage Classic is 22.5 grand. So it's actually 500 cheaper than the Springfield. Now these are pretty much one for ones. They're both going for that classic sort of throwback look. So if you're looking for that classic look, this is the bike that you'd be going for or whatnot, you know, whatever. So this is actually cheaper. Harley is cheaper than Indian on this one. So again, this is really a matter of preference and what you were looking for and what you're looking for option-wise. All right, so now let's get into some of the big boys. And we are going to be comparing the Indian Challenger base model to the Road Glide, which is, from what I understand, they really, when they redesigned them and they released them, they didn't really release a standard version of the Road Glide. The Road Glide that you see right now is a replacement for what they were doing with the Special, albeit without the stretched bags and whatnot, but that is supposed to be the replacement for the Special. However, this is now the lowest version of a Road Glide that you can get, so I still call it the base model because there's ones above it like the CVO and the ST. This one's quite surprising. The Challenger is 26.5 and the Road Glide is 26, both base model. And nowadays they come with pretty equal technology. If not, I would almost lean towards the Road Glide with the redone like Sky Active dashboard that they've got, that huge iPad thing going on. I've not test drove the new Road Glide, so you know, I can't tell you how it feels personally, because a lot of the reviews I do, I'm not throwing stats and all that stuff at you. I'm giving you feelings. I'm like, this feels good. This is comfortable to me. This sounds good. This looks good. But overall, the bike is cheaper, base model. You can go into a Harley dealership, buy MSRP, and roll out of there at a lower cost than you could if you went and got a Challenger. Honestly, this surprised me. This did. I was expecting the Challenger to come in much cheaper, and I addressed this in the last Indian video I did, where the Challenger has gone up about 4.5 grand since it originally came out. So hopefully Indian does something new in 2025 to kind of make it a little bit more of a value to purchase that bike, because right now they're not doing it, at least in my opinion. All right, so now we've got the Chieftain versus the Street Glide. The Chieftain is coming in at 24 grand, whereas the Street Glide is coming in at 26 grand. So again, we're talking about a 2K difference. It's nothing too crazy. And honestly, straight down this list, Indian versus Harley, they are all within firing distance of each other. They're pretty damn close. So yes, the Street Glide is 2 grand more. That is the redesigned Street Glide. In fairness, the Chieftain has not been updated for a few years now. although they have bumped up the engine. I believe they're using the 116, but technology-wise and all that, it's been fairly the same. So this really does come down to what you are looking for. Obviously, there's a few differences in the way it looks and the way it feels and stuff like that. So it really is matter of opinion. That's up to you. But still, it doesn't quite feel like this huge, painful gap in price between the two. All right, so let's talk about the Roadmaster versus the Ultra Limited. The Roadmaster comes in at $33,000. The Ultra Limited comes in at $32,500. So again, Harley is beating Indian by $500, but at the end of the day, that's really not a lot of money. It's $500. I'm willing to bet if you were in this sort of market for this sort of bike, you can scratch up that extra $500 and you've got yourself a fully dressed out bagger that's going to like go touring or, you know, take you to the nicest Starbucks in the neighborhood, whatever you plan to do with your life. It's you, you do you, boo. I'm not judging. All right, so last in this lineup of all the bikes that I'll be talking about today is the Pursuit versus the Road Glide Limited. Now, the Road Glide Limited, I've mentioned in a past video, this thing is going to get updated in 2025. Harley is definitely in their transition period where like some of their Road Glides are still using the old fairing and some of them are now using the new fairing. Same with the Street Glides and anything else that's like Batwing related. So we're comparing the older Road Glide Limited versus the current Pursuit, and the Pursuit has been out for about a year or two as well. Nonetheless, the Pursuit comes in at $35K. The Road Glide Limited comes in at $32,500. So yes, the Road Glide Limited is cheaper. However, in 2025, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the price go up a little bit and you see a lot of the technology and whatnot go up. And again, this is really eye of the beholder, your perspective, stuff like that. I have seen comments where people are like, I don't care about the stereo. I don't want a GPS. I don't care about the Sky Active. I don't care about like, you know, the adjustable digital shocks on the Indians. I don't care about this or that. So it really is what you're looking for and what you want. I've heard arguments for both on both sides with stuff that they like and what they don't like. And that is really, again, up to you, the buyer. But nonetheless, here we are at the end of the list. We just went through 7 bikes on both sides, and they are all within like throwing distance of each other. Neither one is really spaced out there. Now, I know it's easy to say that Harley is pricing out like the common man, but when we're doing that, and like I said, I've done this as well, we're talking about like the CVOs and stuff like that. And I get that, but that's almost like saying like you're going to Ford, you can buy like a base model Mustang, but like their Super Cobra blacked out night edition, you can't afford that and that's crap. That's really not how life works, but I get it. Like I said, I've fallen into this as well. But to say that Harley has priced out the common man, to say Harley has priced out like the blue collar worker and all that, is to say that Indian has done the exact same thing, because they really are in the exact same price point at this moment in time. Now, will that change in 2025? We'll see. And that could change on either side of the fence because, you know, both of them have choices. Again, like the Challenger has gone up $4,500 without making updates or changes. So they really could bump that price up even more if they update it come 2025. That being said, Harley could be doing the same thing, especially with like the Road Glide Limited and the Ultra Limited, which are using the older technology and the older setups and the older fairings and stuff that are due to change and update in 2025. So I guess we'll have to see there. But yeah, what do you guys think? Did you actually realize this? Did you ever like price compare? Is this a shock to you, a surprise to you? Have you looked at this before and you're like, nothing new? Sound off in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, share this video with friends, share it with family, share it with that one dude you know who's really upset that I don't make fun of Harley in every single video I make, no matter what. Seriously, guys. Calm down. There's like 100 other videos you can pick from. He loves this stuff, trust me. And I'll see you all on the flip side.